The latest round of shuttle diplomacy has produced no deal. Talks in Moscow between Vladimir Putin and the US envoy Steve Witkoff have been described as useful by the Kremlin, but the key takeaway is blunt: no compromise has been found. From the Russian side, Yuri Ushakov, one of Putin's closest foreign policy advisors, said the discussion focused around the substance of the American proposals. Moscow sees elements it could live with, but others drew what he called a critical and even negative attitude. The heart of the dispute is familiar. Russia wants internationally recognized acceptance of its control over occupied territories, not least the remaining one-fifth of Donetsk, still held by Ukraine. It wants sanctions relief. It wants legitimacy for the facts created by force. Ukrainian leaders view this, of course, differently. President Zelensky has dispatched his national security advisor Rustem Umerov to Brussels to brief European governments on exactly what Washington has put on the table. Ukraine's essential red line has not shifted. Sovereignty cannot be traded for temporary cessation of violence. Kyiv has already paid too much in blood to reward aggression with territory. Ukrainian officials speak in private of unease at what they fear to be an American impulse to hurry the process. Europe shares that discomfort. EU officials point to Russia's ongoing drone strikes, the weaponization of energy exports, and the menace directed towards Odessa and the entire Black Sea coastline. Trust is zero. Western diplomats note that Moscow's recent posture, threatening to cut Ukraine off from the sea entirely, is hardly the language of a state preparing to withdraw. Equally, of course, the drone strike last night. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has set out the position starkly. These talks matter. They could be the framework for a real settlement, but if Moscow equivocates or delays, pressure must intensify. That means more weapons to Ukraine, deeper sanctions, because only credible strength alters Putin's calculation. Russian messaging is contradictory. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov claims that Russia has not rejected the Trump plan and that discussions will continue behind closed doors. Sergei Lavrov has remarked in state media that Russia wants peace, but only under objective realities, a phrase understood as code for territorial concessions. Meanwhile, Putin warns Europe that if it wants war, we are ready right now. The performance of belligerence sits awkwardly with any pretense of negotiation. American officials say the proposals now circulating are a slimmer version of Washington's original roadmap, reflecting our amendments demanded by Kyiv, and some form of economic cooperation with Russia was reportedly floated in the room, possibly to dangle the prospect of sanctions relief in exchange for compliance. Yet too many critical clauses remain opaque, and for both Kyiv and Brussels, opacity is a danger. For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. There is contact, there is no agreement, and the gap between illegitimate Ukrainian security and Russian ambition remains wide. The Ukrainians, the envoys, will keep talking, yes, but Ukraine reminds its allies that talking alone doesn't stop missiles, and Europe concurs. This is diplomacy under duress, a war still raging, a peace still unreal, the reality simple. Until Russia abandons the idea that territory taken by violence can be bartered into sovereignty, the talks will stall, and the free nations supporting Ukraine will double down, not back down.